5 reasons dating in Japan sucks as a foreigner. Let's watch it.
But dating here as a foreigner is a lot harder than you think. Oh, right.
Do you guys know Charisma Man? It's a satirical comic featuring a white man who is quite unpopular in his own country, but when he comes to Japan, it's like every Japanese woman is into him. If you're expecting this kind of popularity, it's probably gonna be harder than you think. But it's also true that certain nationalities or certain ethnicities might give you an attractiveness boost. But let me hear what he has to say.
Imagine you're me. A terrifying thought, I know, but bear with me. You meet a cute girl. She looks like she's in her early 20s, my age, and you kind of hit it off. The more you talk, the more curious you are about her relationship status. Then, as you're talking, she offhandedly informs you that she's actually 37, married, and has 2 kids.
It's interesting that he started with such a known reason, because it's like saying, oh, living in Japan sucks because the food is so good that you end up eating so much. Come on, I want to hear some real reasons.
And if you live in Tokyo or any other big city, you're right, it's probably not gonna affect you. However, if you come to Japan for teaching, there is a significant chance that you will be placed in the countryside, like me, where the average age of people is much higher.
So that's the kind of people he represents. An English teacher, possibly an LT, and possibly a JET teacher. Because if you are a JET teacher, there's a good chance that they will send you to some remote places. And in the countryside, often young people go to big cities for work. So it's understandable if there's very few women around his age. So if it's difficult to date, it's not necessarily because he's a foreigner, it's because there are very few women around his age. And that kind of person actually represents a tiny fraction of foreigners in Japan, because first of all, most foreigners in Japan are Asians from other countries. And with Western people, yes, we have a lot of English teachers, but those who go to remote places are LTs. So if you teach at an eikaiwa school, for example, you can actually live in the big city. Having said that, it's quite possible that a lot of people who watch his channel are English teachers or potential English teachers. But I always have reservations about the way many Western people use the word foreigners as though they represent foreigners in Japan. But I acknowledge that it's quite nitpicky because when somebody like him uses the word foreigners, we know what he's talking about.
So I'm at a tiny little bar and it is crowded. The only seat that's available is next to this beautiful woman who looks roughly my age. In retrospect, she's probably 40, but I don't know. To my surprise, once I sit down, she actually starts talking with me. She tries speaking in broken English. Very, very cute, by the way. It's a way to a man's heart right there. And because of this, I explained that I can actually speak a little bit of Japanese, which isn't entirely a lie. I can speak a little Japanese, just badly.
That's understandable because if you don't speak Japanese, the kind of people you can date in Japan can be quite limited. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because if you do speak Japanese, you will have a huge advantage over other similar foreigners. In life, there's so many things that you can't really change. If you are an okay guy with okay communication skills, it's gonna be very hard to be significantly more popular in your own place. But if you speak Japanese, your chance of dating a Japanese person will be much higher. And learning Japanese is just a matter of making an effort. You know how in life efforts don't always translate to success, but in this case, they do. So it's not a bad thing.
You can't expect to date anybody if you can't properly speak with them. So, if you're coming to live in Japan, learn Japanese. Learn Japanese, you fucking knob.
Do you hear that? So if you want to learn Japanese with me, I will teach you the kind of Japanese that the real-life Japanese people today actually speak because textbooks and apps don't teach you real-life Japanese. So click the link and subscribe to my email group.
Often in Japan, meeting new people can feel like talking to a PR rep. Every sentence and every word feels like it's been molded to be the most homogeneous and agreeable response possible. Trying to get genuine reactions and responses here feels like pulling permanent teeth.
So it's true that Japanese people are very often indirect and they say what you want to hear rather than what they really mean. But this aspect of Japan, in my opinion, is quite exaggerated. Of course, if you come to Japan for the first time, it might take some time to adjust to how we communicate. But if you have average communication skills, you will eventually figure out what Japanese people mean. There are some patterns. As a Japanese person, if I go on a date with somebody new, it's not really that hard to have pretty honest conversations. It's just a matter of how you approach it. You can do it with the right questions and the right amount of self-disclosure. The kind of people who will always have trouble with this is the kind of people who expect Japanese people to adapt to their communication skills rather than understanding the way Japanese people communicate. Those people might make YouTube videos saying, oh, Japanese people need to be more direct like Western people. But if you're in a foreign country, I think it's better for you to learn how people communicate there. And I expect Japanese people to do the same if they go to a foreign country.
Now, even in my brief experience dating here in Japan, I've already come across the concept of what I will call the Handbag Man. Now, what is a Handbag Man, you may ask? Well, for example, a while ago I went on a date with a Japanese girl who I had really hit it off with disappointment when throughout the entire evening she described how she'd always wanted a foreign boyfriend and she was very excited to show me off to her friends. Ask? Well, because as a foreigner trying to date in Japan, you will come across a lot of people like this, who only see you as some sort of exotic accessory, hence the term handbag man. They only want to be with you.
Now, I understand that, and as a Japanese person, when I go to other countries, sometimes I attract people who want to talk to me only because I'm Japanese. But we also have to be aware that being exotic can give us an attractiveness boost. So we can't just have the benefits of being exotic without having some inconveniences. I guess you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Now, this final reason you're not gonna like very much. I know I didn't when I got here, but it may be the most critical issue when it comes to dating here in Japan. You. If people in your home country don't want to date you, people in Japan don't want to either.
That's a good point, and it's definitely true in many ways, but there are other things to consider. Of course, if you are super unlikable and everybody despises you in your own country, you probably won't do well in Japan either. But if you are overall a pretty good person with decent communication skills, moving to a different place can actually be a pretty good thing for you in terms of dating. Different places have different standards when it comes to dating, and they might prefer different kinds of looks or personalities. Japanese people in general don't like facial hair, so this face is not really that good in Japan. But in many other countries, facial hair isn't a bad thing, so more people find me attractive. It can be simple as that.
So if you're undateable back home, you're undateable here.
Now, I understand that this is just a humorous, light-hearted video. And some people will comment, oh, you shouldn't take him too seriously because he's just joking. But I still think it will be more interesting if he mentioned actual reasons why dating in Japan can be hard. For example, there's a general lack of interest, and also fear of strangers, especially in the Tokyo area. There's plenty of interesting cultural things. But these things aren't something you can change right away, so it's better to focus on something you can do. So if you want to date in Japan, I will teach you the kind of Japanese that real-life Japanese people today actually speak, because textbooks and apps don't represent real-life Japanese. So click the link and subscribe to my email group, Japanese with Yuta.